Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title of this video, we did lose Harley. So before I get into all the amazing signs that happened and messages from spirit that happened with his passing, I'm going to just go into a little bit of other things that I wanted to share before that. I'm going to try to keep my composure, but I'm still really raw from losing him. He was just such a special gift for me, and we had such a deep connection. So please excuse me if I get emotional today. Okay, so the day Harley passed, I just decided to go to the springs, and I was just in so much pain. That's always my happy place. So while I was there, I saw a cloud, and it looked like a big angry face. And this cloud opened its mouth almost and had a perfect wave cresting in its mouth. And I heard angry wave. So I'm not sure what that means, but there has been a lot of anger in society. So maybe a bigger angry wave is coming. People just getting fed up with control, or who knows what's going to happen, but it just feels like there's going to be another wave of anger coming. And then I remember the last few videos I've been talking about the lightning, and there's a channel I really enjoy called The Watchman's Journal, and the woman who runs it, her name is Diana Larkin, and she was mentioning about how the lightning makes the land fertile. I thought that was really interesting because in a journey, in a session this week, I saw just the land, and I wasn't sure what that meant. And then the next day, she said that. So I wonder if there's a connection between the lightning kind of revitalizing the land. The next thing I noticed is that there's a channel that popped up on my feed on YouTube called The World of Signs. And this channel makes really beautiful compilations of Earth events with really intense, beautiful music. And it was just showing flooding and lightning and fire and all around the Earth, and just kind of the sheer majesty of nature and the power of nature and what's happening. And it's not just in Texas that got all the attention. It's all around the world. If you want to go to that channel and check that out, you can kind of see what's happening in the earth right now. And if you remember, about 3 videos ago or so, I channeled Pele, and she said, "Let the rain and fire purify the earth." So lots of nature events happening around the globe right now. Okay, so as a backstory with my cat Harley, about 15 years ago, I made a collage, and it had 2 black cats on it. And I wasn't intending on getting any black cats. I didn't have a black cat. It's just a collage, and that's what I felt inspired to make. And then about 2 years ago, there was a feral cat that got into our house during a blizzard, and she had 3 babies, and 2 of the babies died, and the one that was black was left alive. And so we ended up raising that baby, and the mom disappeared after we had her fixed. So I'm not sure what happened to her, but so that's Sunny, and he's the cat that he kind of has a funny look on his face, and we jokingly call him Creepy Cornelius, because he has feral genes, and he's just a little introverted and a little skittish. And so Harley was picked up at the shelter, and the catalyst for getting Harley was Sunny. And the reason is because we also have a cat that we've had for a long time, about 14 years, and he's a senior. And Sunny, the feral kitty that we kept bothering him and kind of playing with him. And our senior cat, Willie, was just getting so over it. So he was the catalyst to go to the shelter to get another kitten that was about the same age so that they could play together. So that's how we got Harley. So the morning of July 7th, which would have been the 7/7 portal, I was just in the kitchen making some tea, and Harley was just sitting there on the landing by the side door, just looking at me. And I said, "What's up, buddy?" And he just was really quiet, and he's normally not like that. So I went in the backyard with my dog, and all of a sudden, I heard some hissing and growling, and he never does that. And at first, I thought it was some sort of like supernatural attack, because I've never seen him act like that. And then I sent him all kinds of healing, and then he seemed pretty good. And then the next day, I picked him up, and I felt like dried blood on his belly. So I called the vet, and we went in, and the vet said, "Do you want an antibiotic shot, or do you want the pills?" And I didn't really want either. I felt very uneasy about it, but I was like, well, I guess he thinks that he really needs it. The wound is bad enough. He was attacked, I think, by another cat. So I took the injection, and he had to put on this donut thing. Well, first we got a cone, and he just kept getting out of it. And another backstory, one of the first things Harley did when he was a kitten, he was so wild and free, and I picked him because there was 10 black cats there at the shelter that day, and out of all of these cats, I picked Harley. He was just so zen and chill when he was in his cage, like, "I'm okay, I've got this." Like, he was almost like meditating. And then when I took him out, he was just so wild and free. And one of the first things he did when he was a little bit older, when we let him start going outside, was he climbed our front tree, and there was about 15 crows up there. And he was probably still kind of a kitten, but he was completely fearless, went up this tree with all these crows, and then kind of freaked me out, and then he came back down. And ever since then, he's just been his own, such a sovereign kitty. He's just so independent. So I just love him. He had the best fur and such a good purr, too. He would just, every time you'd pet him, he would purr. So anyway, we had a week of, it was just really hell, really. He hated these cones. Then he would shut down and just hide under this table for a while and behind a curtain, and his body would just kind of shut down, because I think he just felt like he was entrapped in this thing. And then we had to take him back to the vet, because he got it off again and wiggled off. And then they put him in an even tighter thing with a harness made out of gauze, and he shut down again. So it was really rough trying to heal him. The whole time I was, trying to do natural things for him as well. Like, I was putting U oil, and it did seem like that was helping a lot on his wound. And when the vet said it would just turn black, probably, and I was like, no, I'm not having that. So the U oil was actually healing it. And so I got him in bed one night with me, and he just seemed like he wasn't doing well. And thank you for all the prayers, by the way. I know that those prayers helped me get through this and helped me receive all the beauty that came out of this. But anyway, I was in meditation and just sobbing because I was so worried about him, and he just seemed like he was in pain, and it just was bringing up this super deep sorrow within me. And then I saw, like, it was almost like a golden light, and it was like swirling above me, and it would just felt like it was like transmuting like the pain of all the children. And I also, oddly enough, saw like the Pope kind of swirling around in this. I'm not sure what that means yet, but it just felt like Harley was catalyzing this intense sorrow within me so that I could transmute this energy from the kids. Or I don't know what it was, but interestingly enough, a video popped up on my feed. I think her name was Sarah Ariana, and she had a message for the 3 waves of volunteers. And one of the messages was that if we feel like we're in this deep sorrow, that we're transmuting this old energy on the earth that must kind of be purified from the planet. I thought that was an interesting synchronicity. So anyway, I just felt like Harley was helping to facilitate that transmutation. And then the next day I just kind of was going about, my stuff in the house, and I just heard that Harley's your partner and you've had other lives together in Egypt. And I kind of brushed it off. I'm like, oh, that's probably my ego. Everybody probably thinks they had a cat in Egypt because, cats were such a huge part of Egypt. So, but I thought, oh, maybe, that's interesting. So then he seemed like he started kind of getting a little bit worse. And so he seemed kind of constipated. So I gave him some castor oil. If you're into holistic healing for animals, I really recommend Veterinary Secrets. He has a great channel with lots of holistic remedies. And I was sending lots of energy to him. And then the next morning, he seemed way better. And I took off his cone, and he and my senior cat, they just started grooming each other, which they very rarely ever do. I've maybe seen them do it one other time. And, I was like, wow, they've really turned a corner. Maybe we've hit a breakthrough here. And I thought he was going to make it. And now that he's gone, I think what was happening is that they were saying goodbye. Sorry. So later that day, he was acting like he was in pain again after I thought we had turned a corner. And I thought, well, maybe he's licked off too much of this Montana U oil that I was putting on his wound, and maybe he was kind of having a reaction to it. And so I gave him some charcoal to absorb that. But through the night, he just seemed like he was so uncomfortable, still like he was constipated or he couldn't pee. And he kept snuggling up really close to me, which he had never, ever done before. He's not a very super snuggly cat unless he's in his bed or on his own and I come up to him. He loves it. But he just kept pressing against me. And he just seemed like he kept moving around, like he was super uncomfortable. And I just laid there sending energy to him all night. And luckily that day, I felt inspired to call the vet again. I was like, there's something not right. I need to take him back. And so while I was sending him energy, I just started meditating, and I just said, I surrender. I surrender. I'm giving it over to God, And so as I was laying there after I repeated I surrender several times, I saw Yeshua, and he was on the cross, and I saw the word sacrifice spelled out, and I wasn't sure what that meant. And then I was shown a lemon tree, and I thought, oh, they're sending me the lemon tree, this sunny, happy, joyful energy, to help me transmute this sorrow and fear that I'm having. And it's so hard to hear spirit when you're in anxiety and fear. So this whole process was really difficult and painful. So after I saw the lemon tree, the last thing I saw before I took him to the vet the next morning was a scarab beetle. So that was interesting. I think that was spirit saying, no, he was your partner in Egypt. This is what we're showing you. Here's a confirmation. So we went to the vet the first thing in the morning. And I told the vet, I said, I don't know if he's been kind of toxic because of licking off too much of the U oil or what's going on with him. And the vet went back and looked him over. And then he came back and he said, the U oil's fine. I did a lot of research on that. They can even ingest some of it. And that's not it. And the castor oil should have been fine. And his wound is actually looking really good. You've done a really good job healing that. And he said what he has is crystals in his urine, and it's blocking his pee. His bladder's super hard and firm. And then he kind of explained the process of what we could do. And he said, there's no guarantees on this, and part of it could have been like cutting off his member. Part of it could be, prolonged catheters. It involved him being overnight in more cages. And I have already spent 10 days with him in so much pain, and he was already so kind of shut down. And so I just was like, no, I'm not going to see him in pain anymore. I just felt like that was it. Like I brought my husband over and we decided together to put him down just because he was in so much pain. So after we let him go, I just held him while they put him down, and they go so quickly. I had to let my greyhound go this way, and I just held him and pet him, and I just stayed with him for, I don't know, like a half hour, and after he passed, and just sobbing because he was just my buddy. It was like losing a child. So when I got home, I did some research on what causes crystals, because he was perfectly healthy before we went into the vet. And there's several things that can cause it. Urinary tract infections, which he didn't have before we went into the vet. Dry food can cause it. Stress. And then AI, well, it seems like AI is being run by people who support that whole paradigm of the old medical system. And so that's why I gave my son injections, is because they bury everything down, all the true information and all the testimonials. It's hard to find because they want to support Big Pharma. So, but on Reddit, I did some research, and there was people on there saying that their cats got really sick after these antibiotic injections, or that they some of them did say they got crystals. Some of them were talking about other drugs that they believed caused their pet to pass away. So, my son was in and out of a wheelchair for 4 years after the shot that starts with a G. My mom died of turbo cancer after she got the shot that starts with a C. And now, after spending $700 on vet bills, from a previously perfectly healthy cat that just had a wound, I don't have my animal anymore. So, my husband and I are just devastated. We're upset. It's just like the third time that we've trusted this kind of allopathic systems, and they've failed us. So it's been very difficult. So after Harley passed, the messages started coming in from spirit. I looked up the lemon tree and that plant spirit meaning, and one of the meanings that really stood out to me was sacrifice, which was the same as I saw Yeshua on the cross, sacrifice. And sacrifice and bitterness leading to transformation, which is exactly what's happening. And interestingly enough, the doctor's name was also Dr. Lemon. And then the scarab is connected to creation and rebirth. And I felt like Harley came in just for a short mission with me to kind of accomplish some of these spiritual things and draw attention to this old system of healing animals and how ineffective it can be. And I'm not trying to bag on any vets. I know that vets are they go through school and they have the tools that they're taught, and they love animals and they're doing the best they can. But in my opinion, I really think that we need some new tools in the box. We need more holistic vets. I can't even find a holistic vet in my town. So if you are going to vet school, or you love animals and you feel like that's your path, I really encourage you to go and learn more holistic healing for animals, because our experience was just absolutely harrowing and seemingly unnecessary. Anyway, I feel like Harley just went back to my higher self, and I keep seeing him shape-shifting into a panther in my mind's eye. And this panther gave me a daisy. And when I looked up the daisy, it's associated with death and dying, as it only blooms for a short time. And Harley was he came into our lives, and he was here for such a short time. It was like I don't even think he was 2 years old. But the daisy also represents new beginnings. And then this panther showed up again, and he had a butterfly on his nose, which echoes the lemon tree energy of transformation. So I think that he came in to bring some transformation into my life and to wake me up and help me to share my story with others. So after that, then the angel numbers started coming in. I was getting a crystal out of Harley's bed after he passed away that day, and I walked by the clock and it said 1119. And I looked that number up and it said, trusting the process, forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of others, letting go, moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose, and releasing past hurts. So I felt that was Spirit just telling me, you need to forgive yourself. This was an initiation. The first card I drew on the 7th when he started howling was a card called Initiation. I'm going to read it to you really quick. It says, when you are being initiated into the divine mysteries of light, love, and power, there are moments of profound challenge. The key is to find the light within the challenge, the opportunity for growth that can transform any challenge into an experience of healing. With compassion and cleverness, you will not burn during the challenges. You shall thrive. And then it's funny because the last card I drew too, I was just in so much pain and sorrow and tears. I drew a card again if they had a new message about Harley. And I drew from another deck the same card, Initiation. So I'll read that one. It says, Earth Star Chakra, Initiation. You are standing at a gateway into the unknown with trust in your heart, ancient remembering in your soul, and inner illumination to light the way. And that ancient remembering is, our past lives with our loved ones and how we can come in and out of incarnations together, I feel like. You have access to the seed of creation, the spark of existence, and the codes that hold the blueprints of who and what we are. This place is clear and grounded, despite moving through multidimensional realms, and able to bridge worlds while functioning in physical reality. The higher you reach for the divine and the realms of spirit, the more important it is to anchor deeply to earth. So I drew one more card. I drew 3 throughout this process of his passing, and this card I drew right before we went to the vet, just to get some insight. And it's from the Kali deck. It's called Kalika Tantrika. Kali overcomes karma, realigns us with our path when we have veered off course, reverses the momentum of negativity, and detaches draining energy cords, restoring us to full vitality. Now this is the part that really stood out to me. It may seem like your will is being thwarted, or you are not getting what you want, but the goddess knows what she's doing. Her actions will benefit you. Trust. So it's like, it may seem like my will is being thwarted. Like my will would be to keep my cat, to have him alive. But like trusting in spirit and surrendering to spirit, the spirit knows what it's doing. And that the transformation through this challenge is indeed taking place. So then the numbers continued. Number 444 we saw. And I looked that up, and it's the cyclical nature of life, trusting in divine plan and your own spiritual abilities during challenges. And during this whole process, I was working with Mother Mary, who I believe is also showed up on Earth in other forms, such as Kuan Yin, and I also believe she's Hathor. And so I feel such a deep connection, especially to her form as Kuan Yin, and I just called her in, and she was working with me through this whole challenge. And it was so harrowing and difficult, but also she was such a strength for me to lean on. So the next thing I saw was the number 999, and this was on a ship during a documentary I was watching about Japan and their military. So this may also kind of cross over to Japan. But anyway, that number is breaking down an old cycle to make room for the new, letting go, releasing tears and sorrow. And then number 222 came in, and that's numbers about perseverance, not giving up, faith through obstacles and challenges, manifesting dreams and goals, light at the end of the tunnel, patience and understanding to reach common good, preparing your inner self, setting boundaries, saying no to what is no longer in alignment. So right before this all happened too, I drew a card that was kind of about nutrition and healing the body. And I feel like kind of like another thing that Harley did was like I was so stressed out and so in so much sorrow and pain through this whole thing that it's almost like it kind of reset me. And this lady's channel popped up. It's like a health channel that I highly recommend. I really love it. Her name is Emma Voisey. I think it's Voysey. And she has so much great advice. And so I've been watching her channel. And also Amanda Ellis has another good video about, I think it's called Everybody is a Addict. So we're all addicts to something. It could be sugar, it could be our screens, it could be, the typical drugs and alcohol, whatever it is. I think that video is also worth a watch. I think Spirit is really guiding us to prepare our bodies and prepare our inner selves for moving into the next level. So that is almost like an initiation in itself as well. So the next thing that started coming in were messages from Spirit in song. My husband and I are musicians, and Spirit often speaks to us with music and songs and lyrics. And so the morning after Harley passed, my husband got home from work and he said, I was just driving home and I heard this song on the radio, and it just seemed like it had to do with Harley. And so this song is by Casey Musgraves, and it's called Cardinal. I'll just read like part of the lyrics. I saw the sign or an omen on the branches in the morning. It was right after I lost a friend without warning. Words unsaid, scarlet red, cardinal. Are you bringing me a message from the other side? Cardinal. Are you telling me I'm on somebody's mind? Don't leave me behind. So then after that happened, later in the day, I was watering the yard, and a hummingbird flew by me, like right by me, and I actually could hear it buzzing. And I thought it was like a huge bug or something. And then I looked up and I saw it landed on a branch right above me. So another bird image. And I asked Spirit, I said, is that another bird message? And Spirit said, yes, go listen to your song Hummingbird. I was like, oh, okay. And so this song isn't released on any of our albums yet. It's coming out. It'll probably be out by the fall on our new record, but it's called Hummingbird. I'll just read part of it here. The valley rose under the smoke. The river flows into your soul. The vision burned over your bed. The thunder spoke over your head. I walk the night singing your song, a lullaby buried and gone. The bridegroom stands over the fire, a golden band for the bride. My wandering son, feel the air in your lungs. My wandering son, feel the breath on your tongue. Hum, hummingbird, hum, hear the ghost of a drum. Fly, hummingbird, fly, feel the weight of goodbye. So that song is about, I wrote that when my son went off to college, and it was hard to say goodbye to him for the first time. And I think it was Spirit just saying, it's hard to say goodbye, and look at this beautiful song that you wrote that came out of it. And it also applies to Harley. Then my husband also brought up another song. He goes, this whole thing reminds me of this song we wrote called Sorrow Has Opened Our Eyes. Like that could be the theme song for us going through all these experiences. And I'll just read a little part of that song. That is on our Garden of Deceit album from 2008. And the lyrics are, a timeless tale fell from paradise. Sorrow has opened our eyes. You work hard by the sweat of your brow. The taste bitter from now on. Come rest a while if you're weary. It's going to be a long, hard fight. Come rest a while if you need me. Take a sliver of silver light. So I'll put that song in the description box if you guys want to hear it. So when I was tapping in today and seeing who wanted to come in for a message to talk about all this, it was Hathor. So, and another interesting synchronicity is when I was walking my dog yesterday morning after Harley had passed, I crossed the street. I normally go on one side of the street, but I went to the other side for some reason, and a neighbor had put out a large, like 2-foot tall Egyptian black cat on their porch. I was like, you cannot make this up. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, when I listened to her words and typed it out, this is what I heard. Beloved beings of divine light, it is of my own free will that I deliver these words unto you this day, and it is of your free will to accept them or discard them. We are now in a time of great transition and transformation. Mother Earth is letting off steam, and she is shaking off old energy. As we have said, the water is now rising in unexpected places, and the storms are upon you. The lightning is indeed cleansing and nourishing the land. The grids of Gaia are being activated and recalibrated. The dragons are resurfacing. What was once thought of as a myth will become reality for those who have eyes to see. The bones of the past will emerge as reminders of what was lost and forgotten. Relics beneath the surface of Earth will show you the way to the truth of your history. All will be uncovered. As you have been told several years ago, many are choosing to leave the planet for various reasons. And as you know, there is no death. There is only transition from one form into another. When a loved one passes, we are mourning the loss of one of their many forms. We may no longer have them in this dimension, but indeed they are in continuation within other realms, and can sometimes make us aware of their presence. Birds, animals, insects are the way that spirit can bring us reminders and messages from our loved ones. I have it within me to bring you this truth, as I am one who knows the way of interdimensional travel as I traverse the realms with ease. I come as a teacher and friend. I make myself known unto you in order to bring forth this perspective of eternal life. I have tarried with you as a guide and helper through the transition of your beloved feline friend. And indeed, there are souls who choose to come in as a way to transform others as they selflessly leave their mark on the world as a catalyst for change. The contract you had with your beloved feline was such a case. When you cross the veil, you will look upon your incarnations as a blip on the radar. For, as we have been saying, time is not what it seems. Time is an illusion. Within the higher realms and within some indigenous cultures in Earth, time is more cyclical or circular. As you traverse the dimensions, your sense of time can be challenged. You are multidimensional beings. Time is happening all at once. This is why some experience parallel lifetimes and timelines. On Earth, the matter is dense, and this creates a feeling of time slowing. But as the frequency is now rising and becoming lighter, time seems to be accelerating. It may seem as if the world is falling into more polarity, but in reality, the light is merely forcing darkness to the surface. All that was hidden is now being revealed. All that was stolen must be returned. All that was broken must be restored. We are now experiencing the purification process that the Hopi have spoken of. Humanity must choose their path. There are many fields of consciousness, but it is coming down to choice now. The battle is coming to a crescendo. Those who have chosen destruction over organic creation are now having their masks of deception lifted. Those who have been unaccountable for their actions are now being uncovered. The curtain is being pulled back. Many systems that once held sway over you are now being seen for their harmful outcomes. The food you have been eating and giving your pets is starting to be proven unhealthy and even in some cases poisonous. Your so-called leaders want you to believe that you are the most advanced of societies, but this is not so. There are those who have worked to cover up the past in which there were more beautiful and advanced cultures than you have now. You think you have been living in a free society, but in reality, you have not. Your choices have been limited, your technology has been suppressed, and your creativity has been stifled. Many of you have forgotten what it is like to be truly passionate and have the freedom and resources to create. The clock is about to strike and the bells are about to ring. As you ride out the waves of purification, hold the line. Hold tight to your inner knowing that you are a son or daughter of the Most High. You have the divine birthright to co-create with that great spirit of divine love. The volunteers who have descended from their star families are assisting Mother Earth in purging this old energy. They are the alchemists of change. You may feel deep emotions rising within you, and this is literally assisting in the release of Mother Earth's sorrow as it moves through you. Yeshua was also an alchemist, and while he was in the garden, he too was transmuting dense energy. But the world was not ready. Many beings of the stars are now in human form and have volunteered to assist Earth and humanity through this purification process. Let the tears flow, emotions move through you, and release them for transmutation. Just as the Earth's waters of emotions are flowing for transmutation. If you need to weep, let the tears flow. You will find your way towards peace, prosperity, and restoration. Breakdowns will bring breakthroughs. Surrender to the eternal flow of the Creator and your divine connection. Allow what has been to recede as the tide ebbs to and fro. Take time to rest and hydrate. The storms will continue and will bring you together in unity. Those who seek to rebuild heaven on earth will be drawn together in friendship and healing. Some who were blind may be able to see as events continue to pull back the curtain of lies and deception. The pyramids align with the fire of the lion lineage. The lands become fertile again. The warriors of the rainbow rise as the phoenix from the ashes of the old world. You, the Christed ones, the architects and builders of new earth in which love will reign supreme. Do not waver now, as your way is being cleared. Heavenly allies surround you and bless your way forward. Let it be so. I am Hathor, she of 1,000 winds, blowing you back towards that beautiful garden of many colors and many rays, of which you are each a spark of. The rainbow is within you, and you shall magnify it through love and unity, my friends, my comrades. And we shall see this fallen world through to a new dawn together. Your garden of sorrow shall transform into a beautiful garden of Eden. Thank you, Hathor. So what she's saying is, at the end there really reminded me, I forgot about a spirit animal. Before all of this started with Harley and his passing, we were taking a walk in a nature center, and we found this magpie feather. And I don't know if you've ever seen one, but they're really stunning. They're black and white, so they kind of represent duality. And then when I got home, I looked it up because we also saw this one magpie, and he was just like squawking in this bush, like right next to us, kind of low. And when I went up to him, he didn't fly away. He just sat there. And so when I got home, I looked it up, and one magpie by itself represents 1 for sorrow. So I think a lot of us are experiencing a lot of challenges and sorrow right now. And I think Hathor's message of, not giving up and holding the line and moving through these initiations will bring us transformation. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Sorry, it was a little bit of a more somber episode this week. If you'd like to book a session with me, please go to redmountainshaman.com, and you can go to my contact page and you can learn how to book a session. It's super easy. I hope you guys all have a great week. It really helps to press the like button to get me in the algorithms a little bit more. Please share this video too if you know anybody that could benefit from this story. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Leave a comment. And I make my videos every Sunday. So I hope you all have a great week, and we will talk again next Sunday. Take care.